One of the challenges that people that are now going into their 40s and 50s are facing is that they didn't take pensions seriously in their younger years, because when they thought of pension, they thought of pensioner. They didn't think about it as a financial product that's effectively just delayed to pay them off at a time where they'll be earning less in the future. So that had a detrimental effect on the perception of the product, the financial product that is a pension. In a 2026 world, what is a pension? Is it still worth investing in? And if you're going to start on your pension journey now, what are the smarter things that you can do now that you couldn't do before?
When you mention pension to somebody who's 30 years old, they immediately visualize an old man with a stick. And they don't want to be there with an old man with a stick. And that's basically what it is. In my books and the way I work with pensions, and I explain to the clients without even mentioning pension is an investment plan, is a long-term investment plan. It receives benefits from the taxman. When is the taxman going to give you money to invest somewhere? He at least gives you minimum of 20% to every pound you put in. So if you're investing and the taxman is helping you to put in 20%, or maybe whatever rate of taxpayer you are, if you're a 40% taxpayer, you get 40% into. So if it was £100, you get £40 paid to your pension plan by the taxman. So it becomes a very strong investment proposition, right? How you use pension is very important. The reason I'm in this business is because of pensions. Because I actually put in a lot of money from my company to save my company money and put it into pension plan. That way I can extract money out of my company, and there is limits obviously as to how much you can put in now. But yes, you can actually put money into your pension plan and your company doesn't have to pay corporation tax on that money. So it's like a business expense. Mm-hmm. If you take money out any other way from your company, you're going to pay PAYE or dividend tax.
So if you're a young up-and-coming entrepreneur right now who has in the last 10 years kind of jumped on this entrepreneurship wave, got really excited, they're trying a number of new different ways to start a business. You know, it's not going to be anymore opening a shop or starting a bakery. You know, it's going to be something that could be online. Maybe they're a creator, an influencer. They've used one of these new media, internet business models to get a tremendous amount of wealth. They're not going to know too much about pensions. You're saying that you think it's worthwhile taking a chunk of that money because there's no exposure to corporation tax, no exposure to dividend tax, no exposure to PAYE, and putting that into a pension. The first question that a creator, especially a young creator or a young entrepreneur, is going to ask is, great, I'll do it. I see the benefits now, but when do I get to access that money back if I need it? How soon can you draw down on your pension?
So at the moment, the limit is 55. So you got to be, if you're 30-year-old, I will always highlight to the client saying that, is this long-term money? Because you will not be able to touch this money until you're 55. So that is very important to understand. So, you know, a lot of times when I'm talking to clients saying, what is your cash flow requirement? So it requires a little bit of attention into understanding the clients and their objectives. So 55 is the earliest you can actually withdraw money from your pension. And you can pay into your pension until age 75. So you might have already retired and you got surplus money sitting in your bank account. You can still contribute within the limits of what pension limits are. You can still contribute into your pension and get the 20% tax relief.
So at the moment in 2026, you can put 60,000 a year into a pension, right?
Yes.
So if you're 45 years old, you can effectively access that in 10 years. You could put in 60K a year, assuming that the allowance remains the same. At 55 years old, you could have £600,000 of money that was sat in your company, extracted tax-free, waiting for you in just a decade.
Yep. So your company will benefit, either it's a 19% or 25%, today's tax rules, but it can change. So your company will benefit from not paying tax on that money. Your £600,000 is gone into your pension plan. And then you'll work out if that pension plan easily grow at 5% per annum, year on year, then we can work the maths out. And it's no brainer that it's the best plan going.
It's been an absolute eye opener, like hearing about this, because I think to myself, like, I'm one of those people that 10, 15, 20 years ago, I didn't even want to find out what the definition of a pension was, because once I associated it to a pensioner, I was like, that's not for me. I was like living the high life and thinking that's so far away that I don't need a financial product that's aimed at somebody else. Now looking back at some of the profits I've made in the past, I just think to myself, man, it would have just been great to just dump that straight into a pension.
Exactly.
And especially now, only 10 years away from when I can extract that out, I'm thinking to myself, well, why not just put 60 grand a year into a pension? I'll get it back in 10 years anyway. Yeah. And that's pre-growth, right? So when you put money into your pension, if you put in 60K and each year that's bringing in 5 to 10%, actually in 10 years time, you're not going to have 600 grand. You're going to have 600 grand plus all the compound growth that happened along the way. Is that right?
Exactly. The reason I'm in this business is purely because what happened with how I obtained advice then was like, how could I extract money out of my company and put it in a pension pot, which then is tax-free. And until recently, it used to be inheritance tax-free as well. But now the rules have been changed, so there's a lot of panic out in the market.
If I now build up a pension pot of 600 grand in the next 10 years,
Yep.
pounds, and I have access to that, firstly, can I extract it all in one go?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can, but you need to take some advice, because if you extract all of that in one go, the steps are like this. So £600,000, you can take 25% of that tax-free. So there's no tax on that money. The balance, the remainder, will be taxed at your income tax rates. So it's your highest rate. So if you extract everything out in one go, you'll probably be paying tax at 45%, which will be crazy. Mm-hmm. So what you need to do is you take advice. I always say to my clients, you draw the money out of pension or draw the money out of anywhere. Where are you going to spend that money? Are you going to spend it? I mean, a lot of people come to me saying, Yash, okay, now I can take my tax-free cash. I said, yeah, you can. What are you going to do with it? I said, no, put it in my bank. I said, well, that's absolutely crazy, because your money in your pension is growing tax-free. You take it out, put it in your bank, and you might earn interest on it, or you might invest, right? All that income or investment income that you generate from that money, your tax-free money, is taxed. So why would you want to do that? So it's simple. It's understanding. And I think this is where you need to be very careful as to what you do with things. And this is why we want to work with the clients with their overall financial position. And then we can help the clients, right? It's a bit like, if you go shopping, like food shopping. You put money on a kitchen table or food on the kitchen table, which you will consume in next 2 or 3 days. And then you put it in the fridge or freezer or deep freezer. And this is how you arrange your money. So if you put money in your bank account, which you're going to be eating within 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, that's fine to be in the cash. Anything else needs to be invested so that it is protecting you from inflation and your money is growing for you. So this is how we help our clients, and this is the education that we give to the clients, saying this: you need to arrange your money like you arrange your food and eat it accordingly. So if you're taking money out of pension, it is tax-free, yes, but you take it and put it in your bank account, which would be completely wrong thing to do. And this is where we educate our clients to understand that concept.